Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all happy and healthy out there, and welcome back to the channel for another NECA 1/12 scale figure unboxing and review. Today we're going to be taking an up-close look at NECA'S take on the Old Faun, aka Doug Jones, from director Guillermo del Toro's 2006 classic dark fantasy Pans Labyrinth. The review will take the usual format. We'll have a quick look at the box, then it will be out with the Old Faun himself for a close-up look, then we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end and possibly reintroducing him to the Pale Man. As always, some shout-outs and background before we get into it. Firstly, a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed and supported the channel since it first started. The response we've had has been absolutely phenomenal, so thank you to one and all. And by way of a thank you for that support that we've received, we are currently having a 1/6 scale figure giveaway. All you need to do is check out the giveaway video on the channel, drop a comment in the comment section before 9 AM Greenwich Mean Time on Friday the 28th, and by the time this video hits, that may only be an hour or two away, so you may need to get your skates on. But if you manage to get a comment in, you will automatically be entered into the prize draw to win one of 3 Marvel-based 1/6 scale figures. And to those of you watching the channel but not subscribing, and I know there's a lot of you out there, get off that horse of indecision, hit that subscribe button and join us in the Go Figure Saloon for a stiff one. It's cost and pain free, and not only will you be helping us to keep doing what we're doing here at Go Figure, you'll be able to sleep soundly in your beds at night, secure in the knowledge that you've helped an old prospector in his search for action figure gold. So, background. As viewers to my channel will know, I am a huge Del Toro fan, and in my opinion, Pan's Labyrinth is arguably the best movie he's ever made. Even trumping the Oscar-winning Shape of Water, in my humble opinion. It tells the tale of Ophelia and voyage into a dark fantasy world to discover if she is the reincarnation of Moana, Princess of the Underworld. Led on a journey by the mysterious Faun, played by Doug Jones, a regular in Del Toro movies. And he also plays the Pale Man in the movie as well. And there'll be a link to the NECA figure review of the Pale Man at the end of this review. If you haven't seen the movie, I cannot recommend it enough. But that's enough of my labyrinthian ramblings onto the box. So let's stop the turntable from spinning and take a close-up look. It's the usual story as far as the box goes. It's what we've come to expect from NECA. Really, really top-shelf presentation. It's the usual Velcro bookcase, the usual Velcro book type opening for the box itself. On the front, you've got this really, really nice sort of artist rendition of a profile of the Faun in grayscale, with the horns actually turning into the staircase that Ophelia sort of descends into the underworld in. Really, really nicely done, very classy, very well presented. Across the bottom there, it says Pan's Labyrinth in the lettering that they use for the film. On the side, you have Pan's Labyrinth again. It says Old Faun, Guillermo del Toro, Signature Collection, number 6, but we'll get to the reason for that 6 there. On the right-hand side, same thing again, just replicated on this side. Let's bring it round to the back. What have you got on the back? On the back, it says NECA in the top left-hand corner, Pan's Labyrinth again. You've got this really, really nice photograph of the figure itself with this backdrop that matches the movie. There's a description of the film, a description of the character, and down at the bottom here, you've got some more of the figures that appear in the Del Toro collection, signature collection. There's more than, how can I put this? There's more than just these figures in the signature collection, the Del Toro signature collection there. There's a figure of the Shape of Water, which we've reviewed on the channel, and there'll be a link to that review at the end of this one. But these are just the figures from Pan's Labyrinth. So what you have are the Old Faun, which is what we're looking at today. They also did another Faun version, which is the younger Faun, and it's sort of it's odd in the film because the Faun character itself actually gets younger as the film progresses, and NECA released this one first, the younger Faun, which appears later on in the film and in the closing scenes of the film. But the most predominant one is the Old Faun. And the one that's most associated with the film. You also got Ophelia, the Pale Man as well, who we'll be taking a look at in the showcase. So, yeah, Don't have all these in the collection. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that one day I will. But yeah, that's what you've got across the bottom there. On the top of the box, Pans Labyrinth, usual warnings. You've got NECA over there. On the bottom, you've got the credits, the barcode, and all the usual bits and pieces. The warnings on top there. Don't piss this figure off, or it may demand a blood sacrifice from you. So yeah, as we mentioned, it's got this sort of book opening Velcro fastening thing going on, which most NECA figures do. And once again, really, really nice presentation. You open it up, you've got this clear plastic window. Inside is obviously the figure itself with the accessories. And on the left-hand side here, yet another really, really nicely taken photograph of the figure with that backdrop that appears around the back of the box as well. So yeah, just fantastic presentation. High levels of, that we've come to expect from NECA. Yeah, and there you have it. That's the box. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice the seals are still intact on this one. It has never been opened. Had this for quite some time. It was released about 3 years ago, but never quite got round to opening up. So what we'll do next is what we always do, is we'll crack the seals on this guy and we'll dive down onto the table to have a look at everything that he's about. Okay, so seals broken, figure out, accessories out. I thought we'd have a quick look at the accessories first. Doesn't come with an awful lot, just these 3 pieces. But I thought we'd take a look at these before we move on to the figure itself. What you do get with your old Faun figure, we'll start with this, is this bone. Now, people who've seen the film will recognise this. It is a bone, but it is also a flute. I'll try and get the camera to focus on this because it's not the easiest thing in the world photographing these 1/12 scale accessories. But yeah, this is the flute that the Faun plays on a number of occasions throughout the film, and the sculpt on here, if this camera will focus, is really, really nice. It's got multiple paint applications on there. It's been sculpted with this pattern on it that's been etched into the bone. Paint washes are really, really nice to give it that sort of ivory look, slightly yellowed, but yeah, and there's some dry brushing on there to pick out the details, and just really, really nicely done. Never failed to impress me, NECA, with not only their attention to detail, but just the paint applications and work at this 1/12 level are really, really outstanding. So yeah, that's the bone stroke flute. You also get his satchel stroke pouch. I'll try and get this into shot. This is really, really nicely done. The screen accuracy here is absolutely on point. And once again, the sculpting and the paint applications are really, really nice. All one piece of sculpted plastic. It's this soft plastic to give it that sort of leather-like feel, and then it's been painted once again to accentuate that leather look. And the dry brushing, the shading, and the sculpting on here is really, really, really outstanding. You'd be forgiven for thinking this was actually made out of leather if you looked at it up close or from a distance. So yeah, really, really well done, really screen accurate. You've got these 2 bones, well, this 1 bone across the front here. You've got this symbol painted in there, which is screen accurate. The whole thing opens up to reveal even more leather and stitch details. The stitching on here, even down to the stitching underneath the flap that they've sculpted into the plastic, is just really phenomenal. Didn't even need to go to those lengths there. But yeah, overall, really, really nicely done. This belt here is plastic. This loop belt for going over his shoulder is plastic, as are these sections here, which connect it to the top of the pouch. These strings, once again, plastic but painted to look like string stroke rope. Just really, really nice. And if you're not wanting to pose your old Faun figure carrying the bone flute, what you can actually do, because there is a little catch underneath here and a hole, is you can actually slot it into this section here. If I can do this on camera, which would be nothing short of a miracle, and it will actually slot underneath that section there, and then you can close the pouch off and actually having carrying it rather than having it in his hand, which once again is screen accurate, because there are a number of scenes in the movie where he's actually got this pouch slung over his shoulder with the bone flute across the top there. So yeah, really nicely painted, really nicely sculpted, completely screen accurate, and probably what we've come to expect from NECA. It's almost taken for granted these days that they turn out work like this. So yeah, props to NECA on that one. And the final accessory is the fairy carrier. Now, people familiar with the film will recognise this. This is what the Faun carries the fairies round in, which he releases to do all manner of things. Once again, all one piece of sculpted plastic. There's some really nice detailing on here. There's gaps in there, which are screen accurate. The sculpting on the detail of this carrier, really, really nice. Paint applications, very good to give it that weathered look. Once again, the strap itself is plastic, but even this has been painted to give it that weathered leather look, and really nice. And this actually functions as well, although I would say exercise caution with this. It is it's quite delicate, but it will actually open up. I'm only going to open it up a small way, simply because I don't want to damage the hinges, because you can probably see here, there are metal pins in these hinges, and there isn't one in this bottom one. Not sure whether that's fallen out in the box. I may have to re-examine the box itself, but yeah, don't want to break it, but and I won't be posing it open, but yeah, it does actually have some give to actually open up there. So yeah, nice touch there from NECA, and it clips closed when you're not using it. So that's the accessories. So without further ado, let's change the lighting and take a look at the old Faun himself. Okay, so here he is, straight out of the box, straight onto the turntable, and first impressions. Well, yeah, first impressions are very, very good indeed. Part of me is saying, why have you kept this in a box for 3 years, James, with a figure this good? But it is what it is, yeah. At the risk of sounding like a broken record as far as NECA go, their work in the 1/12 scale world is exemplary in my opinion. Their attention to detail, the screen accuracy, the sculpting, the paint applications are all phenomenal. And yet again, they've hit a home run as far as I can tell with this one. But yeah, first impressions are very good, really, really imposing. The accuracy's there. The colours are right, the sculpture's right. The fact that this guy is actually standing with the way the legs are designed on this figure is nothing short of a miracle as well. Not having to use a stand on this. Those legs are perfectly screen accurate, and how they did it in the movie was they actually, obviously they CGI'd in the legs here and took out Doug Jones's, the remaining part of his legs here and inserted these. But the fact that the NECA have made this so it'll actually stand up as well is props to NECA as always. But before this turns into a NECA fest, let's take a close-up look at this guy. Let's stop him from spinning and get him into camera, get close up with this guy and have a look at what we're dealing with here. So we'll start at the bottom, as we always do, and we'll take a look at these feet now. Two completely separate types of feet going on here. One is this sort of tree-like branch effect, and the other one is a hoof, which are completely accurate. They're on sort of they're jointed here. There's no lateral movement, but there's forward and backwards movement in these feet. The thing that really grabs me straight away is the paint applications and the attention to detail. The lovely paint effects here, and the whole thing actually comes across as sort of having this almost burnt wood type body, almost like it's an aging tree that's come to life, and just phenomenal sculpting as well. As I say, the paint applications on here are great. Underneath feet, you've got the usual. You've got two actual holes here for pegs for use with a 1/12 scale stand if you need it. But ironically, as I mentioned before, this guy seems to want to stand up on his own. Going up these legs, the thing that's amazing me straight away with this is just the amount of detail in here. Every time I glance at this thing, I'm seeing something different, whether it's a texture like the swirl on the knee joint here. Well, it's not technically the knee joint. There are two joints. There's a joint. I'll show you. That's probably it's probably best to show rather than tell on this one. If you look, you can actually see that the legs articulate here as well, although that's quite limited. And then you have another knee joint here too. Another great thing about this figure is the fact that there's so much detail packed into here that you can barely see the joints. And visible joints are always something that hacks me off, to be honest, in any scale, but they've done a really good job as always with hiding those. The paint washes are fantastic in the crevices and in the details there. The legs are jointed at the waist, so you've got some movement there. Not a vast amount. There's no lateral movement, but there is some forward and backward movement. The legs are hard plastic, This section around the centre is slightly softer to allow more movement in there, but once again, really, really nicely sculpted. I am not going to say anything about that crotch area. Insert your own getting wood gag here. I don't want to get a strike, so we'll move swiftly on from the crotch area. There is a ball joint at the waist there and a ball joint in the chest area, which gives you some play. Not the best articulation on this figure, but at the end of the day, there's a reason for that, and that's simply because of the nature of the shape of the figure. As you can see at the shoulders here, very little lateral movement. You've got a full 360 turn in the shoulder, but because of these details here, to make it screen accurate, you do lose some of the posability in the figure, but it's a compromise. There's a joint at the elbow there, and your hands are pegged on, so they've got a full range of motion in them, and you can twist as well to give that forearm section movement. So, but yeah, it's really what sets this apart, I think, is, like I say, is the level of detail and paint application. We'll take a look around the back here. If you look, there are swirls, there's areas where the spinal column is visible. Try and get the camera to focus here. It's not asymmetrical, which I really like as well. For example, on the back here, I don't know whether you can see this here, there's actually a sort of almost like a branch sticking out. The shoulders are asymmetrical as well, with their own different types of detail. One with this prong coming up here, one with slightly different on this side. But yeah, just wonderful, wonderful paint applications, wonderful sculpting. Every time I'm picking this up, I'm seeing something different. For example, what appears to be 4 nipples. That's a new one on me. So yeah, it's just something new every time. So going up to this head sculpt, let's take a look at this head sculpt now. I really, really want the camera to focus on this so you can get an idea of the level of detail we're looking at here. Never ceases to amaze me in 12th scale how NECA managed to pack in so much detail and so much screen accuracy. That face is done really, really well. The tiny, tiny lines in there on that face are absolutely phenomenally well done and screen accurate, down to the patterns on the head. The paint applications are great. The sculpting of those teeth in 1/6 scale. This hair itself that falls down is actually it's softer plastic, this, so the articulation in the head isn't going to be phenomenal simply because of, it's on a ball joint, but simply because of all this hair that's hanging down. But what NECA have done is ensured that this hair is actually plastic, a softer plastic rather, so it's not going to damage the body area or the back when you move it around. But yeah, paint application's phenomenal. That hair is really, really well done, really screen accurate. The horns themselves, beautifully painted, beautiful detailing. Those eyes, and I'll try and get this into shot and get this camera to focus, and I'm not sure it wants to, but the eyes themselves almost have like a mesh underneath them before they've been painted white, which gives this sort of, it gives a depth to them. Which is really, really amazing at this scale, even down to articulated ears. So yeah, the ears themselves actually move. They're on ball joints, so you can actually have them posed down. You can pose them up, which will give a more sort of alert look to the figure itself. Yeah, just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I can't praise this enough. As you can probably tell, I'm quite impressed. So yeah, there you have it. That is NECA'S take on the old Faun, and we will try and get him to stand up again on this turntable, and just so we can show you how. I mean, I find it incredible that this figure will actually freestand. Yeah, there you go. Other things to point out on this figure. The hands themselves, there's no spare hands with it, but what you do get, this hand here is specifically, looks to me to be specifically designed to hold the bone flute. And this hand here looks like it's actually playing the flute. So it looks like you've got the option there to actually have him playing the flute, which we might try out in the showcase at the end. So yeah, let's see if we can get him to spin again without falling over. So there you have it. That is NECA'S take on the old Faun from Pans Labyrinth. I hope this review has been useful for you. I don't normally score NECA figures, but I feel inclined to do so here. I think as far as paint applications go, screen accuracy goes, and just overall sculpt, I think this is one of the best NECA figures I've ever seen. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I can't find anything wrong with it. Even the solutions regarding the joints and getting round how you're going to get this guy to work must have been incredibly difficult, and they've overcome it. So yeah, I can't find anything wrong, so I'm going to have to give it a 10. Don't normally score them, but I think it's about time NECA's figures got scored on the channel. So there you go. It's a 10 out of 10 from me, and I don't hand those out very easily, as you know. So yeah, there you have it. I hope this review's been useful for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Is it something you've got in your collection, in your 1/12 collection? Please let me know in the comment section below. Have you seen the film? Do you like the film? What do you think of this figure? I'd be fascinated to find out. So please, as I say, drop a comment in the comment section below. As always, we'll have a quick rundown of what's coming up on the channel. In the 1/12 scale world, we have got all kinds of things, mostly NECA orientated. I have to admit, we're going to be looking at some Predator stuff, some Terminator stuff, some Alien stuff, Evil Dead 2. I could go on. This is the. I'm just on one last point on NECA. I did find out today, and this really did tickle me, because it is. Not only do NECA produce, I think, in my opinion, amazing 1/12 scale figures, it's just the variety and subject matter. The fact that they produced characters from Pans Labyrinth, I think, is wonderful. But they really do go for some obscure stuff. And I found out today that they're actually making a Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote. How obscure is that in 1/12 scale? I might just have to get that just to say that I have Jessica Fletcher in my collection in 1/12 scale. But yeah, props to NECA, not only for everything I've already mentioned, but also for the sheer variety of figures. So yeah, we've got a lot of 1/12 scale stuff coming in. A lot of 6 scale stuff, Org Toys, Gurney Halleck and Duke Leto tradies from June. We've got the VTS Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Blitzway Astro Boy Deluxe Edition version 2.0, really looking forward to that. On its way as we speak is the Redmond Dracula Blue version 2.0. That's Gary Oldman from Bram Stoker's Dracula in his formal attire with blue sunglasses and top hat. Mondo's McCready from The Thing. I think that's due out beginning of next month, so that's one that we're looking forward to. And a boatload of stuff from Present Toys. We've got Anton Chigurh, aka Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men, Ellen Ripley, Sigourney Weaver from Aliens, Mad Max, Tom Hardy from Fury. Oh, the list goes on and on and on. But suffice it to say, there is an awful lot of stuff coming up on the channel. So please, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And also, as I mentioned at the top there, if you get the opportunity, zip over to the competition video, pop a comment in the comment section, and you never know, you could be lucky enough to be walking away with a 1/6 scale figure for nothing. So, from me, from the old Faun, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.